You get enough meetings.
Carolina's not with us yet. You know what time she'll be joining us? Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay, I'd like to call Thursday, February 10th, 2022 meeting to order. Lucy, will you call the roll, please?
Supervisor Conrad.
Here.
Trustees Owens, absent. Trustee Sight.
Here.
Hey.
There she is. Okay.
Here.
Yeah. And trustee Wood. Here.
Ready? Okay. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Seeing nobody in the audience, we'll move on to approval of the board meeting minutes of January 6, 2022. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Any questions? Any questions, anybody? Okay, not seeing any. Lucy, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Wood. Yes. Trustee Wood.
Yes.
Trustee Sight.
Yes.
Supervisor Conrad.
Yes. Next, approval of the special board meeting minutes of January 26th and February 2nd of 2022. We have a motion to accept, motion to approve that. The second?
Second.
Okay, any questions? Okay, hearing none. Lucy, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Wood. Yes. Trustee Sight.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Next is the committee meeting minutes. I'd like to have a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the committee of the whole from January 26th, the communication committee from January 25th, park committee January 25th, highway December 10th, and January 28th. I have a motion to accept those meeting minutes.
Second.
Any second?
Second.
Okay, any questions? Changes, anybody?
If she has a question. Your question.
No, she said no.
Okay.
I think she said no. Okay, Lucy, we call the roll.
Trustee Wood. Yes. Trustee Wood.
Yes.
Trustee Sight.
Yes.
Yes. Next is the approval of the board audit from January 1st, 2022 to February 7th, 2022. Lucy, will you read the board audit?
Total general town fund, $50,361.22. Total general assistance, 0. Total general road fund, $21,952.63. Total firm load, $67,415.40. Total park maintenance, $52,052.83. Total cemetery, $37,592.74. Total payroll, $146,363.70. Total of all funds, $374,738.52.
Okay, can we have a motion to accept the board audit as read by Clerk Crowley?
Motion.
Any questions on the audit? Okay. What page? One one five six five, that's probably the Pride City. Yeah. That's for our annual website fees. Mhm.
One is, Human Center, 1555. Let's do that. Okay. And those are all right.
Okay, so for those of you who are on the computer that may not hear that, there's a purchase of 3 computers, which were all taking place between seniors and the youth. Okay, anything else?
Yep.
Yeah, no problem.
General consent.
Thank you. Oh, I need that. You can see the page. Hang on 1 second, please. So I can get that. You're on the cash summary.
Cash summary,
Okay.
Under the general account fund, money market, 100.
120? Yep, that's a debit. $120,285?
Yep.
That's a debit. Yeah, money was spent out of that fund for January 1st to January 31st. The credit was $18,000.
Right, I know, but we did the expenses that were listed earlier. It's just weird that it comes out of the money market, isn't it? Or no?
Well, actually, it's the money market. The money is in a, it's not really money market.
Okay.
It's 2 accounts and it flushes through, meaning we have a checking account, and we have a money market account that earns interest. And then every day, whatever amount of money put through the checking account, that money moves over every day. So we have to do that every day, but that way we're still earning interest.
Okay,
So
just
I was
wasn't sure with the
kidding.
money market, I just thought that, you know, I did not. Okay, thank you, that's all my questions.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Any questions from anybody else? Questions? Okay. All right, then, I'm sorry, did we have a motion? Yeah, we did. Okay, so we just need to call roll. You?
Trustee Sykes?
Yes.
UK?
Yeah.
Supervisor?
There we go. Okay, next is monthly updates from elected officials, department heads, and township manager. I just wanted to say thank you to all the staff and board members for being so patient with us as we go through our budgeting process here. We have 10 different departments to go through. We have 4 left, I believe, to work through, and we'll be done with that in the next couple of weeks. So again, thank you for attending all these meetings. It's very important that we're all here and understand all the different things that our needs are for the next year. So thank you. And then the only thing is I want to wish my well wishes out to Larry Bowman, Trustee Bowman. Hopefully you're recovering quickly and you'll be back with us in a week or so. That's all I have. Trustee Fadike, do you have anything to report on?
Yes. Also, I want to echo Supervisor Tremblay's comments about just the budget reviews. I'm learning so much, as this is my first time going through, but I do want to appreciate all the staff for just being so well prepared as we talk through the numbers. And also want to send my prayers and speedy recovery to my fellow trustee, Larry, as he hopefully gets better. So we met the Community Center Committee on Friday, and our department head, Susan, will give an update about the meeting.
Okay, anything else? That's it. Okay. Mr. Wilhite, your report?
Again, just, thanks everybody, first time, great, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you, Jennifer, and all our questions, on very thinking, and Sarah was we had our first few meeting Wednesday, yesterday, but we haven't had a long time, so there will be a update for that.
Okay.
Just a reminder, we do not have a primary this month. It's going to go to June 28th.
Thank you. Trustee Sykes?
Ditto what everyone else had to say regarding the budget so far. Thank you to staff for their work. Again, I also wish well wishes to Trustee Bowman on a speedy recovery. And I will leave the update for highway to Superintendent DePau.
Interim Assessor, Petty, any report?
We hired a new field person part-time. He started last Monday. It's going well. And all things are moving forward for the 22 assessment year.
Okay. Great. Any questions for Penny? Okay. All right, then we go down the line here. Go ahead. Where should she?
Yeah.
Hello. So health and wellness had another really good month. We had a new clinician start, Melanie. She started on the 10th and she's doing really well so far. I think I've given her 15 referrals and she was like, I'm doing good. You can keep them coming. So that's really good. We did get 25 referrals in January, 16 for therapy, 6 for case management, and 3 for just consultations. People who need to come in. Sometimes just talk for a little bit. Maybe they have a problem that they're trying to work through. So that's mainly what the consultations are. We currently have 44 open cases and conducted 85 sessions during this month, which is pretty good since January, a lot of people kind of call off from therapy because after the holidays. We do have a couple still on the wait list just for high demand. But we're hoping to get those off pretty quickly. Right now, we have a lot of youth and adults, not as many senior citizens, and it could be because right now we've halted the home visits due to COVID. We're hoping to be able to start them back up shortly though, but we did actually just get some information on another agency who has some volunteers doing home visits to just kind of visit. So that's something that we can explore as well. We got a lot of referrals from people who have previously been in therapy and then referred themselves. We've also had 5 from police and fire and just 6 from members of the community knowing about us and then reporting it. So I think that's really good. And then we had 2 from social media, which I'm kind of pumped about because, you know, we just kind of started our Facebook page, so we're getting there. The lending closet is still doing really well, even though we were an appointment only for January. So we helped 34 families. We have gotten so many donations of people bringing things back that was ours or is ours, and then along with some stuff that they've also had. So we actually halted donations for the lending closet. We have a lot. We have an abundance. We have an abundance of wheelchairs. Yeah. Wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, commodes, canes. So we have put just a little bit of a halt on that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, so the space is kind of gone. So we did graciously, we were lent the some of the highway guys to come over and help us clean it out. So thank you for that. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, right. We were also, because of that, we were able to then get into the adult depends that are there, and we were able to donate them to Avantara Long Grove, along with 50 lap blankets. And they were so grateful that they were asking for more. We do hope that in March, we're going to be able to have our first brief group in person. It was postponed. It was supposed to start in January, then February, and now hopefully March, since COVID is decreasing. We still had a lot of meetings. I met with Ela Coalition, at COI, like Zurich Police Department, and now I have plans to meet with
And this is actually, it's not a bridge home, it's a bridge back. And Gateway Foundation, they are substance abuse centers that I'm hoping to develop a relationship with. So when people come in and need to detox, we have somewhere for them to go. We are still encouraging telehealth sessions since we do have a telehealth platform that's HIPAA compliant. So we're kind of hoping to keep that going. But that is it. Anybody have? Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Our vacant highway maintenance position has been filled. Nicholas Day comes to us from Lake County DOT, where he was employed as a snowbird. He has extensive experience in highway maintenance, and I feel he will be a great addition to our department. So far, so good. I'd like to update everyone on our snow and ice control operations. With the winter storms coming on a more frequent basis, we've been busy with our snow removal operations. We've been using the DTN Weather Sentry on a daily basis to monitor ongoing weather conditions. DTN provides us with recommendations on each storm, and we use this information as a tool to determine how we will attack each storm in a timely manner. We are fully stocked with road salt and liquid to use at our disposal. And that is pretty much all I have. Short and sweet.
All right.
Any questions? Yes. Tonight.
No? Oh, tonight?
Yes.
Great.
I'm surprised the last night. Did you ever put a heads up when we're gonna freeze and Mary stuff? I'm using my cell phone. You couldn't call me when you're on the bus.
You want me to like FaceTime you 9 o'clock after you listen to Tom Skelly? Or 9:30?
Okay. Yeah.
Your director, Philip?
I know. Too, so.
Okay. So, a few things on both ends, on the senior end and on the youth end. So during January, we were in Costa Rica with about 24 seniors. It was a very eventful trip. We had a few injuries, a few illnesses, but even just as recent as today, I was getting more and more feedback from some members because they're signing up for another trip, and just what a great trip they had. And so wonderful. Everyone has fully recovered from their injuries. And
Go again.
apparently they're ready to go again. So there you go. Also, during January, we pretty much suspended any kind of in-person programming aside from exercise, simply because the numbers had spiked and we were really trying to, err on the side of caution. And honestly, we are just inching back a little bit each week. And so today we just proofed our newsletter for March, and it's going to be very similar to February. And then we had a staff meeting today, brainstorming for April, May, June. Fingers crossed, we're going to try and put out our first full newsletter since COVID hit, and back to almost full programming by then. And then look to go back to our hours that we had prior to COVID, probably sometime in August or September. So for those of you that have never experienced that, actually, I'm thinking probably the majority of you, in festive times, we are open from 8:30 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. So we take during the school year a bit of a programming break during the time that the after-school kids are there, and then it resumes from 5:30 with exercise and other programming until 7:30 at night. So
You say in when?
we're looking at August or September, but we've got some time to see how numbers start to roll back, and what other variant comes along or what have you. There is a bit of a mistake in the, well, it's not a mistake, it's old news. In the report, we do not have a chef. That did not pan out. She was never officially hired, And after she had made it through her interview process and came down to the paperwork, things just kind of deteriorated. And so, yeah. So you're looking at her. And the good news is I have some very solid volunteers that have immediately stepped up, and they will be there at least 3 days a week starting next week. So that's awesome. On the youth end of things, registrations are going fantastic. We have a couple slots open for the Isaac Fox bus come next school year. The Spencer Loomis May Whitney bus is full with a wait list. We have kids signing up for, or parents signing their children up for summer camp already. And we have a prospective staff already in the works, as well as a prospective staffer for the after school program. So things are going well there. Revenue is doing great. Expenses are still being, kept aside from having to do some purchases like computers. I think cold weather just makes them all crash is what I'm going with. I just think we have so many, it's cyclical. I think those were all bought at the same time, and now they all start paid at the same time. We've kind of got a program in place. So now I know with the next budget year, we'll have to replace a couple more. The beauty is then each one of those ends up being stripped down and put on the youth bank, and they get used every day. So that's fantastic. All right. Yes, ma'am.
On the volunteers, when you have to, do they have to have food service?
They don't. I have mine. So I went through the certification. I used to have it, and then obviously didn't have to have it, and I have it again now. No, although one of them definitely has it. So, you know what? Got a pulse? 2 hands? Really not even 2. I'm good with one. You could water things. It's all good. Yeah. So, also, huge shout out to the highway department. Number 1, for keeping our parking lot so good. Number 2, they used 2 of my obsolete cabinets from the kitchen and created a tray station for us. So when we are back in person eating, we now have a station for a recycling can and a regular garbage can that you don't see because they're hidden behind cabinets, and a beautiful countertop and a place for people to put their dirty plates. So thank you, thank you, thank you. They delivered it today.
It's Christmas.
Yeah. Also, we had a water main break. I'm not forgot about that. We had a water main break on Tuesday, right when we were finishing. Actually, luckily we were finishing lunches early on Tuesday because of meetings, and so the village came out pretty quickly. Subsequently, then yesterday we had a leak inside in our sprinkler room. Sherman came by this morning and quickly took care of that because it was just a matter of the pressure changing and the seal not being complete because of that pressure change. So they fixed it. Hopefully no more.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. That was short.
For me.
Township manager.
Thank you, Supervisor. So, as was mentioned, budget planning was in full swing in January, and I first off just want to thank all our department heads for all the countless hours that they've been putting in. Reviewing their budgets. Reaching out to contractors and consultants and vendors and putting together, what next year will look like. As part of it, also all performance evaluations have been completed for staff as part of the process. But yeah, just it's been an incredibly smooth process this year. No general, 2 of our newer board members here weren't here last year, but we had general ledger realignments, and I'm happy to say that everything is looking very nice now as a result of just some of the cleanup that we've done in the past couple of years. Otherwise, we did reach out to, as part of our process, to Ela Historical Society to discuss their ongoing building maintenance items, as well, just for next fiscal year, which falls under the Parks Maintenance budget. So we have the community center, I believe, next week, and we're all looking forward to it, especially Susan.
Totally looking forward.
So otherwise, We have our highway department and administration department staff are working on the vehicle replacement plan for the highway department. So that should be finalized probably sometime here within the next month. And we'll be able to utilize that going forward, just in terms of the budget process and how we, move vehicles up through the line, depending on the criteria and methodology that's involved. And lastly, I would just mention, on a very positive note, we were able to sell our 2010 Ford Escape in January. In February, listed in January, for $6,300, which was a very good number. So that's all I got. Unless there are any questions. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the MS4 presentation by Gaywalt Hamilton. Sorry, with us we have Carolina from Gaywalt, who will be joining us. Thanks for being patient with us while we get through our agenda.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Thanks for having me. Are you guys able to see the presentation, or it looks like I don't have screen sharing abilities?
We have our own copy, I believe.
Oh, okay.
It's in our books, so we can follow along.
Awesome. Yeah, that works just fine. Yeah, so just on that opening title page there, I'm just going to give an overview of what the MS4 program is, kind of where we're at with the permit, and how that applies to Ela Township. So MS4 is municipal separate storm sewer system. And you'll see on that next page, that second slide, there's a good diagram of what all goes into storm sewers. So basically everything from our impervious surfaces and surrounding areas drain into the storm water system. And none of this water gets treated, so it directly enters the nearest water body. For example, a creek, a stream, whether it's a detention basin, none of that water gets filtered. So the point of the MS4 program, therefore, is it's a permit through the EPA that is, its goal is to prevent pollution of the stormwater system. For that exact reason, is there's no other filtering that occurs. So this permit is renewed every 5 years, and the last time it was renewed was 2016, which means that last year we were due for a permit renewal. But the EPA is kind of behind and has not yet released that new permit. So we're still waiting on them to release that. And once we release that, we'll let Mike at the highway department know, and we'll work to put together a new stormwater management plan, which is part of that renewal every 5 years. So on that next slide, you'll see the 6 control measures. And the 2 main ones that Gaywalt Hamilton assists Ela Township with are the illicit discharge detection and elimination, as well as the pollution prevention and good housekeeping for municipal operations. Now on that next slide, I'm just going to go through, we got a glimpse of what the new permit would include. We were able to make public comments on it back in September. So these are potential changes to the permit that would affect the township. There's not too much that's different. They just add a few things here or there, I think, just to say that they changed it. So one of the new metric requirements is regarding illicit discharge. They just want to ensure that we're tracking the systems as best as we can. So we go out and inspect outfalls, basins, and stream banks and search for things like, is there oil sitting on top of the water that's coming out? Is there some sort of weird orange sludge? Things along those lines, and we keep record of it. We take notes and photos at each location as well. And we do 20% of those every year, so that over the 5 years, we complete 100%. On that next slide is focused on public education and outreach. So doing presentations like this at board meetings so that the public has an opportunity to understand and hear about what MS4 is, posting posters such as the one given on the slide. It's just an example of an educational poster that could just be in, Village Hall or a public space that people can see and understand what's not supposed to go down the storm sewer. Don't be dumping your car oil down the drain, things like that. That next slide, the main difference here. So we already keep track of basically everything on this slide, except for the list of municipally owned and operated facilities. That's the biggest change that this permit could potentially present, which is not a problem, but that's just something new that they've included this year. We have a map of all of the locations of the MS4 for Ela Township already and keep inventory and do inspections, so we cover those things. Finally, the public involvement and participation. The EPA just really wants to ensure that the public has an opportunity to comment on the MS4 program or any concerns that they might have. And part of that is covered by the opportunity to file complaints, which there are links to that on the Highway Department's website, as well as on our MS4 website that we provide. So it's a really quick run through of the MS4 program and just the new permit and potential changes to that. So if anyone has any questions, I'm ready and willing to answer.
Anybody have questions?
Well, I like, but thank you for our attention. Last slide.
Okay,
Oh, sorry.
any questions? All right, Carolina, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thanks.
Okay, next on the agenda. The 2022 pavement assessment and 10-year improvement program report. We talked about this, I think, at the POW in January. It came up again at discussions during our budget meeting this past Wednesday, where we'd like to get this plan in place so that we have a guideline on all the roads that are in Ela Township. And this report assesses every single road that we have and gives us some idea of what needs to be done first. And I'm proud to say that there's no roads under 80% that need help around here. So that's really good news. So we can get a motion to approve the 2022 pavement assessment and 10-year improvement program report for all of Ela Township unincorporated roads.
Motion.
And before we vote, does anybody have any questions? Okay, Lucy, we call the roll, please.
Trustee Syed,
Yes.
trustee Williams, trustee Wilson,
Yes.
and supervisor Conrad.
Yes. Okay. Seeing no other business to come forward in front of the board, I have a motion to adjourn for the evening. Second. Lucy, we call the roll.
Trustee Williams, yes. Trustee
Yes.
Trustee Syed,
Yes.
supervisor.
Yes. Good night, everybody.
Thanks. Have a good night, everybody.
I got something before you